It's football season and Clock on the Wall says it's time for another live broadcast of Coffee with Coach from the lobby of First Bank and Trust of East Texas in downtown Jasper. And now, here's the voice of the Bulldogs, Art Lay, and Jasper Bulldogs head football coach, Garrett Morgan.
And good morning, Bulldog fans. Great to see so many here at First Bank and Trust East Texas. Eddie Hopkins, president. What a great come-from-behind win by the Dogs Friday night against Center. Well, I'm still excited, as a matter of fact, and I know you are too. Coach, remind us that, remind you that we have breakfast for those in the lobby of First Bank and Trust East Texas. And now Coach Garrett Morgan is here and Coach Levi Steele. And this week the Dogs travel to Huntington, and I hope we'll fill the stands in support of the Dogs and our coaching staff. Coach Morgan, let's start with the winning drive by our Bulldogs. That drive may do more for our Dogs and fans than anything we've done all year.
There's no doubt about it. It was a very, very exciting drive. Our kids took the field and had 96 yards to go with 3 minutes and 12 seconds left, 2 timeouts. And, you practice it all the time. And, Friday night right there under the light, we had to do it, and our kids executed. We were able to run the ball. We were able to throw the ball, communicated well. I thought our coaching staff did a really good job of play selection, and we executed.
Well, Coach, there were several big plays for TDs in the game. Describe the one that started out with Carry-On Morrissey in the Wildcat formation and Walker as flanker.
That was one of our specials. We've been in the Wildcat formation several times this year, and that was one of kind of a wrinkles off of it, where Carry-On handed the ball off, and it was a reverse deceive, and he threw a deep post to Marcus Collins for a touchdown. Threw a great ball and great catch. So executed again. It goes back to execution, and the kids executed very well. It was a great play call at the time.
And Coach, when you do that, you have to have a pretty good job on the offensive line. And if you gave out game balls, you'd have to give one to that offensive line.
There's no doubt about it. Week in and week out, those guys go to war in the trenches. And when I say go to war, they really, really do. I called them in and talked to them again, and told them how proud of them I was, and it's evident how hard they play, and those Coach Favara and Coach Morgan are doing a really good job with our offensive line.
And Coach Steele, I'm going to let him answer this one, but when it came time for the Dogs defense to step up, they did it too.
Yes, sir. We got after them there and got that one turnover, and then we're able to force them to punt to give the offense the ball back.
All right, now, we talk a lot about Carry-On Morrissey, who had 191 yards against Center, but when he needs a break, you call on Donovan Middleton, and the Dogs don't miss a beat.
Donovan's a very athletic, great feet, great vision. He executes well. He takes care of the football. He's a great back. I think he had 4 carries for 55 yards or somewhere in that neighborhood. And, again, just a good 1-2 punch, very explosive. He starts on defense, plays a big factor in special teams. You've seen him have several key returns this year. He picked a ball off and scored in the secondary. So he's a very, very active player as well.
Now, talk more about him. Some fans wonder why maybe you don't use Middleton more on offense, but he plays just about every down on defense and special teams.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So whenever he does play, he's in several packages we have offensively, and so we utilize him in certain situations in certain areas on the field. So.
Okay, now Morrissey needs just a few yards to become the Dogs' all-time leading rusher.
We don't look at a whole lot of records like that. Somebody mentioned that to me the other day. He said he's under 800 yards from being the all-time leading rusher, and that's exciting to know.
Okay, it was just great to see Justin Mays back after missing several games.
It was. Justin Mays offers a lot more than just a tight end to our football team. Justin Mays is our leader, and there's no doubt about it. He works extremely hard. All the kids respect him. He's very intelligent. He's a great kid, and we're tickled to death to have him back. Like I said, he brings a lot more to our football team than just a football player. He's a leader.
And Coach Brad Shivers, who had been out with an arm injury, played a big part in the ballgame also.
He did. It was good to see Brad first night on Friday night under the lights, and he did well. He's a sophomore and made a bunch of plays on JV and answered the call. When we called his name, we needed him to step up and fill a role for us on Friday night, and he did it well.
Hey, Coach, but injuries are part of the game, and we lost Terrence Cooney with a foot injury.
He's okay. It was an ankle sprain.
Oh, okay.
And so we feel like he'll be ready to go. So
great to hear that. Now, one of the big things always when grades come out, you lose a few players. Sometimes they lose more than one, two, but this time, as compared to last year, it's a lot different.
Compared to last year, our senior boys, we had 100% pass rate with our seniors, and we were excited about that. Our juniors went from last year's 77% pass rate to 97% this year, and then 10th graders was 74% to 96%. So we lost one varsity football player, and we lost 2 JV football players, and our goal is 100% pass rate. Freshmen, we lost 7 players, which is high. It's extremely high. Again, our goal is 100% pass rate. Our junior high did a great job as well. I think we only lost 2 8th grade boys.
Wow.
And that's, from my understanding, that's unheard of. Credit to our administration and our coaches for really doing a good job of monitoring those kids, and our teachers. I can't say enough great things about our teachers. We have what we call Monday night football, and the teachers will volunteer and come in and do tutorials with our kids, and so it's definitely a team effort, and it paid off, and it's showing up.
All right, Coach, time to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about tonight's game at Huntington. But first, this break on KJAS and KJAS.com.
You're listening to a live broadcast of Coffee with Coach on KJAS Radio 107.3 FM with Jasper's head football coach Garrett Morgan and Art Lay from the lobby of First Bank and Trust of East Texas.
Coach Morgan, Dogs take on Huntington. They've not had much success over the several years, but the Dogs know, and you know, they can't take Huntington lightly.
Well, you can't take anybody lightly. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, and so we're not taking Huntington lightly. We've had a great week of practice, stepped it up in practice, and we haven't lost sight of our goal, which is to go 1-0 this week, and that's what we talk about. We're taking it 1 week at a time, and we're excited for tonight. Okay,
give us a scouting report on the Red Devils.
I'm going to let Levi talk a little bit about the Red Devils offensively, but first I'll talk about them defensively. They're gonna base out of a 50, which we've seen all year, and they're going to play cover 3, cover 4. They do a good job of disguising their coverages. So our receivers and Steven and our offensive line will have to do a really good job of identifying what coverage they're in and where pressure's coming from. But special teams wise, they do a good job of keeping you off balance. On their kickoff return team, they run starburst, they'll run reverses, they run throwbacks. They do a lot of different things. They're very creative, and so again, we've got to do a good job of communicating and staying in our lanes on kickoff and executing our assignments.
Coach Steele.
Offensively, they've got 3 main guys that they like to get the ball to. They do very well of trying to create a variety of ways to get them the ball. There's 3 guys that can really go for them. They've got a fullback who's a hard runner. He's very physical, does a lot for them up front, and then they've got a receiver that can get out there and go get one for you. He's always a deep threat, and they got a quarterback that he's very shifty, can make you miss in the open field, and they run a lot of two back tight end sets, and they like to come downhill at you. And then try to hit you outside and then try to throw one deep to that young man. And they do a different variety of ways of shifting their offense around and try to get mismatches and burst into different formations, try to get you outmanned and things like that to try to see if you're going to be sound and solid in your defense. And that's something we worked on a lot this week.
All right, Coach, time to check scores from last night's games.
Scores from last night's games. Our 7th grade team combined and won 38-0. Our 8th grade white team tied 20-20. Our 8th grade red team won 22-6. Our 9th grade team won 34-0. And our JV went back to West Orange Stark to play their undefeated JV, and we won. We won 22-14. And I tell you, our kids were excited to get to play them again. They have a really good group on their JV, and our kids went down there and lost earlier this year, and so they were ready for a little bit of revenge, and they got it. They played hard, and it was exciting.
All right, Coach, and we look forward to tonight's ball game, Jasper and Huntington in Huntington. Want to make sure all our fans – now, there's a fan right there. And very little, I won't say, but it's still nevertheless a fan. Thanks, Coach Morgan and Coach Levi Steele, and our thanks to Eddie Hopkins, President of First Bank and Trust East Texas, and all our Bulldog fans for your support. Our engineer here at the bank is Michael Love. Back at the KJAS studio, Mike Lout. And I'm Art Lay, Sick 'em Bulldogs.
You've been listening to Coffee with Coach from the lobby of First Bank and Trust of East Texas and downtown Jasper. Join us each week beginning at 7:30 on KJAS 107.3 FM, or stop by the bank for a little breakfast courtesy of Elijah's Cafe in Jasper and a lot of Jasper football with Coach Garrett Morgan and Art Lay. Also join us for this week's live game action with Art Lay and Van K-Mac on KJAS Radio and on our website at kjas.com for live streaming audio carrying the Jasper Bulldogs around.